Hello everyone, welcome to the show. My name is En Andrade. I'm with En La Onda Live. My guest, Eric.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Well, technically I'm having you because you're at my apartment, but yeah, thank you for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
So, man, I saw your interview yesterday with Bumper. Man, dude, awesome interview.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
that.
Man,
you really got to express yourself and really how you feel and about your music, and I just want to give you credit. It was like super awesome.
Wow, thank you. I really appreciate that.
So tell me, how are things going? Tell me about your album, man.
Okay.
Tell me about that.
So things are going great. I released my album in October. I released my album called Toda la Noche, and I released my single. It's 5 songs, and I worked with a very prestige producer, Gabriel Zavala. He was somebody that I really wanted to work with, and he helped really put this entire thing together. I conceptualized each song, and I told him I kind of like what I wanted to do was kind of make each song like a theme, so that it kind of narrowed down, and he got exactly what it was that I wanted for each song. So I made sure that I let him know. So each song had a specific formula that I wanted. I gave it to him, and then that's how we have all the songs that we have.
Awesome. So tell me, how long did it take you to record all these songs? I mean, they look like they're time consuming because they got a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
And not to mention, y'all got to see the video, because if I had to do, I just would not be able to do it. I need a lot of Tybo and all kinds of stuff just to keep up with the cardio.
Well, thank you. So the time, it did take a while. The reason being was because, like I said, when I had each song conceptualized in my head, I knew that certain songs were going to have certain types of harmonies, and I knew that I wanted certain songs to be fatter with more voices in certain areas, and I wanted some things to be more just straightforward with just one single voice. So it took the entirety was a year, but it was because it got started with the song, and that was with Toda la Noche, and the song turned into an EP after my first recording, because I was like, this has to turn into more than just a single.
Just one song. Right.
Yeah, so that's when the whole thing just kind of took off, and then it just went piece by piece, and I had to allow Gabriel to get my idea, because the thing was, it wasn't like he just created those 5 songs and told me, let's record them. Right. It was, I told him what I wanted, therefore he had to go and kind of create what he could create based off of what I needed, right?
Correct.
So then he would give it to me, and then based off of the amount of vocals we needed or whatever it is that we needed to do, then we would and it would take some time, because I don't believe in rushing creativity. Right. Somebody who has been a choreographer for pretty much my entire career of making a living, I never liked when I had to do choreography for someone and they felt like they needed to rush me. So when it came to creativity on him, I let him have as much time as he needed, because I understood.
Right, because at the end of the day, when you're trying to come up with something, the ideas, there'll be times that stuff will just flow right away, and then there's times when there's nothing, and then especially when you're trying to get input from yourself, like, hey, I want this song to have this, and then you're trying to figure out how you can puzzle it together so it can have what it is that you want.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm going to bring up a little bit of the past.
Okay, right? Go ahead, yeah.
So how I know, you have a very popular parent.
My dad, yeah.
Your dad, Livia Real from the Desperados.
Yes.
And you were there with them for a short period of time.
Yes, I joined in 2017 or 18. I can't remember. It's really not been that long, but I don't remember if it was 17 or 18. I think it was 17, but I know that it was on Valentine's Day was the official day we released it to everybody.
Wow, cool.
It was. I don't think we meant for it to be on Valentine's Day. I just think it would the day fell on a specific day of the week that worked with the algorithm that we were thinking of. So it was on February 14th for sure. But that was cool. It just kind of so happened where I knew I wanted to be a pop star, but I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen. So therefore I asked my dad. I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but I knew that there was got to be a segue. So what I wanted to do was figure out how can I just at least start singing and practice singing and getting on a stage and performing in front of people, regardless of the fact that at that time I didn't want to sing Tejano music. I knew that I eventually had to step on a stage and sing in front of people, and there was already an opportunity there. Why pass it by?
Plus, it was going to give you the experience
that I needed.
Because you needed to feel the nerves when you first got on stage, and then to feel the crowd, you're gonna feed off their energy. So all of that kind of helped you get more experience, right?
And as much so as the technicality of singing, it's so much more like it's not just get up and sing a song. You gotta stay within your key, you gotta stay within your pitch, you gotta follow the rhythm. There's an entire band you have to follow with. Like, a lot of people don't understand, like, I kind of just got thrown in with the sharks. Like, my first time like singing in front of people was not just like, oh, stand up and sing a song to everybody. It was like a whole band was behind me and I had to just sing along like it was karaoke. Yeah. And I hope it worked. Like, they just threw me in. But I feel like that's what created who I am now.
Correct, because it's a sink or swim, right? Yeah. And then no pressure. I mean, your dad's only behind you. Right?
Yes, but it creates that environment of if you're going to do it, and if you mess up because you want to do, if you really want to do it that bad, you'll figure out how to get back up.
Cool. So then tell me this, how did it feel to be on stage with your dad? How did it feel? Were you like nervous all the time? Did you get past the nervousness? Or, I know you were under lots of pressure because, you have to live up to the name, to the performing and everything. The whole thing. Tell me how that felt,
I will say that the nerves came more from practice. When we would practice together, I was more nervous within that setting, only because I know that he's a perfectionist. I want to sound the best that I can sound, and I'm a perfectionist. And sometimes because I'm still a student. I'm always learning. At that time, there would be things that he would say, and I didn't understand him, and I knew there was a battle of I didn't get what he meant. But it was not just because I didn't get it. There was a lack of knowledge that I had to learn as time went on. So it took me a while, but we figured it out.
Yeah. And then another thing too, right? Because you had mentioned also that, you don't speak Spanish.
Yes.
So everything you learned it, and then again, like your dad's Spanish.
You know what? That is such a good thing to bring up, because I don't think people understand when I practice these songs and whenever I am learning them and singing along, I'm not at the moment of me singing the phrase by phrase or verse for verse. I'm more memorizing a sound versus actual words. So when I sing in English and I hear a song for the first time and I start singing along with it, I can memorize it faster because I know what I'm saying. When I'm singing in Spanish, I'm memorizing sounds, so I don't know what comes next, subconsciously. I have to overly think about it. So when I sing songs in Spanish and learn them, it takes me twice the amount of time.
Yeah. So see, kind of reminds me of if you know D from Culturas. That guy, he didn't speak any Spanish, and he sang.
And he sang it, yeah.
He sang, and then again, go back to Selena, same thing. Yes. Her Spanish was not too
not
good.
The best, yeah.
But but getting back to your album, I heard was self-funded.
Yes.
Now, tell me this. What was the purpose behind that? Did you just want to fund it yourself so nobody didn't have anybody to tell you how you wanted something to be? How did you want, in other words, control of you?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
I'm gonna just tell you the straight up truth.
Okay.
The reason why it was self-funded was because nobody wanted to work with me. I'm not talking about Desperados. I'm talking about as a solo project. I didn't have anybody interested. I don't know what people's perception of me is sometimes, but I didn't have anybody offering me hey, I'll write you a song, I'll produce a song for you, or hey, let's work together. I really wanted to do something bigger and greater for myself, and there was nobody there really offering, which is I didn't expect it. I'm not saying I don't want anybody to think I expected it, but because that wasn't happening, it was okay, so figure it out, pay for it on your own, and that's how I contacted Gabriel.
Yeah, and this is so funny because very popular artists, they want to do it on their own. Yeah. And they have all the, they have all the backing. They have all the means, yeah. They have all the backing. They're man, I just don't want to do it. I want to do something on my own, and you ended up doing it on your own. Yes. First time.
Yes, but I also, you're 100% correct, because what I wanted originally in my mind, right? In my little mind back then, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get signed, and someone's gonna get, and I'm gonna get an album paid for, and I'm just gonna go in and sing, and then I'm done, and then I'm gonna go sing at all these concerts, right?" Yeah. But the reality was that was that was not it, and when I had to start self-funding, I also realized and I gained knowledge of how fun it was to self-fund because of the fact I created this entire thing without, if somebody's, let's say for instance, you fund me or somebody else funds me, if you're funding me and if I presented to you Toda la Noche and let's say at the time you didn't want that, you're funding it, so I got to sing what you want me to sing. Exactly. And I have learned that I am now privileged enough to know that handling that on my own, it's perfect. Yeah, because I love the fact that I have my own creative freedom to not have to worry about what anybody's saying. Sometimes Gabriel will get involved and be like, I don't know about that. However, we find a compromise because what I want, it actually sometimes isn't possible, but that's okay to reach. You got to reach as far as you can reach, and wherever you grab is where you grab, but at least to anybody out there who's brand new, reach as high as you can grab. Be as creative as you can be. Correct. Dig as deep as you gotta dig. But stay true to yourself and don't do what you think somebody else wants you to do. Don't fall into that. Do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, we all love individuality. That's when you really get when an artist can grasp you. It's when they have that individuality, they have that humbleness to them, they have that authenticity. Correct. That is what I feel some people lack and need to be aware of. Like, you got to be authentic for people to really engage in you. Correct.
So at what age did you see yourself that you wanted to be a performer and say, hey, this is what I want to do? One. And then how did you pick your style?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Two-part question I got. Okay, first answer is, since I can remember, I have always wanted to be a pop star. From as long as I can remember. I went to school. School was tough for me. I did become a cheerleader, and I was a pretty good cheerleader, actually. I was pretty damn good. But
more cardio.
Yeah, but I wasn't really smart, and I knew all through growing up it was really tough with me with school, but singing and performing, it just lived in my brain constantly. I grew up as a 90s baby, so you talk NSYNC, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Pink, all of that era was very pop and dance and big. You remember that era, right?
Right.
That is what I saw and always wanted to emulate. So now having the segue of starting in conjunto with my dad, and then now being able to be completely Eric Lee by himself, I'm sure you can see through my music video, there's an inspiration of that 90s pop era in there. Correct. Because that is what I loved, and that's what I want to do. I want to do the dancing and the singing and the dancers, and everything's big and crazy. That's my thing.
And then the style, of course. I mean, it's 90s influence.
But
it's got like some Latin vibe to it.
Yes.
Like I told you earlier, I was like, man, that song, dude, it's Miami. You're in Miami with that song.
Thank you. With the style, I don't even want to say I really picked it. I feel like it picked me. Yeah, like it found me, or it found Zavala and I. And I'm never gonna take away the fact that he is heavily involved in creating my sound, because I'm not gonna sit here and say this is all me, and I'm never gonna say I'm a bigger person or a bigger star than I really am. I'm not gonna put anything that's not true out there. I know that he really helped this, but I also put this together because I say stuff like, he's been doing this for this amount of years, but it's taken my push to ask him to make this, for this to come together, It was a collaborative effort. I just think it was a known that I wanted to grab what Tejano is, and what's fun about Tejano majority of the time when you think of it overall, it's a cumbia. A cumbia gets everybody going pretty much, right? Everything else, everybody still likes, rancheras and all that stuff, but cumbias gets pretty much everybody going. I wanted to take cumbia and make it pop, and then I wanted to still keep the influence with the bajo, and then we still had so we kind of made this Tejano pop sound. And I don't know where it's gonna go, but I think we have a pretty cool start to where we're at right now.
Y'all are doing great, man. I mean, just keep going. So So most of your influences then was mostly 90s music then pretty much?
Performance-wise, yeah, I can be completely honest. With me and how my brain works, I have an appreciation for so much art. I have an appreciation for so many types of music, so many types of genres and different styles of performances. So I have so many different ones, but like when I was young, 90s was big for me. So all those that I just named earlier, that was heavily influenced. But then I also got really big on listening to, like, I saw Ricky Martin and I thought, oh my God, he's doing exactly what I want to do. And then I realized after Ricky Martin, it just like, there was no other guy doing that anymore. It just stopped. And then I do know within Tejano's never really seen that kind of stuff either. No. And so like now being able to kind of have the opportunity to wear those shoes in Tejano that no one's really worn before, I feel like liberated. I feel excited because I do think that there are other Eric Lees out there, and I feel like I probably would have been inspired to sing Tejano a lot sooner if I saw myself out there. And I feel like representation is so important, and I feel there's so many other, like I said, little Eric Lees out there that
they're
like
watching.
I hope I can inspire. That's just because I didn't have it. I want to provide that.
Of course. So, Eric, $1 million question.
Okay, here we go.
All right? Now, if you could perform, I'm gonna change it up, but if you could perform with any band or duet, who would it be and why?
Okay. Oof.
If you could perform with somebody.
God, okay.
This is dreams. This is like.
I would love to get on stage and sing with Dolly Parton, I Will Always Love You.
Ooh,
that's in her style, not the Whitney style. I would like to sing it soft with just the guitar. It just, and the reason why is because I went through a dark time, and I've always loved Dolly Parton, but within that dark time, I've rediscovered who she was as a person, or who she is as a person, who she is as an artist, her individuality, her authenticity. I did a deep dive at that time, and I just fell in love with the person that she is, and I really try to emulate that. And I feel like we would share a very happy energy on stage, even though we're singing a sad song, and that would be an interesting perception for myself.
That's awesome. Second $1 million question. Unless it's this one, but what is your all-time favorite song?
Okay, all-time favorite song is Toda la Noche by Eric Lee.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. I'll take it. Well, awesome, brother. Thank you so very, very much. I mean, for being on the show, I really, really appreciate it. It was fun. Yes. We'll do it again for sure.
I would love to.
I want to shout out to my sponsor, Bajos Quito Gallardo. As you can tell, somebody has a cool cap. Really, really enjoyed your time together, man. We're going to get you going. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And you guys, y'all got to see the video, because if not, man, y'all are missing out. Y'all have a good evening, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Creciendo en mi pensamiento. Cuando escucho el tambor se me alegra el corazón, llevo ritmo muy adentro.